Welcome into this segment of Behind the Pen presented by MostValuablePodcast.com. If you want to listen to the full podcast, go to blogtalkradio.com/MostValuablePodcast. Also, we're on iTunes, so check us out there as well. Thank you all for listening as always, and enjoy the show.
But Dave, we're going to move on into our last discussion, and we're keeping it in the NFC East, and it's the Redskins, and I'm just going to get right into it. I'm throwing you the question.
All right.
Should the Redskins trade Kirk Cousins? We're just going right in.
Guns a-blazing.
Right boom, 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 boom. It's high noon.
Well, what the hell is left if you trade Kirk Cousins? I'm sorry, I'm just going to give you
nothing.
Well, the context here, they just lost their best wide receivers.
Both of them.
Yeah, 2,000-yard wide receivers. You made it very apparent to Kirk Cousins he's not really welcome there long term because that's not in the running for you.
You can't franchise tag him next year
Can't
because
do
I know I
that,
have to pay him $34 million.
$34 million? Just pull the freaking trigger. Pull the trigger. He's not wanted there. You made that super clear. You're just holding on to him because you got nothing better to do, which I can understand from an organization standpoint because you don't want to put out a shit product because then no one will come watch. You won't make money, and you'll be heavily criticized for shitting the bed publicly.
But
too bad
their GM
you already
too.
did.
They fired the GM too, Scott McCaughlin.
Yep.
He's gone. Bye-bye.
You already did. It's a terrible environment right now. Like they are just... We're negative, man. I'm negative about
This should happen. Like, just trade the guy.
Yeah, let him go.
Trade the guy.
You don't want to keep him there. He's unhappy. He's not going to give you his best. Although he might, because he might be playing for a contract somewhere else. That's what they're hoping for. I bet.
The reason why I trade him now, if I'm the Redskins, is because you can get something for him now before Tony Romo gets traded. Basically, what you can do is you could say,
set your own price.
We're going to get into a bidding war. Hey, Denver. Hey, Houston. We know you don't want Jay Cutler. Nobody wants Jay Cutler except for Mike Rankin. Nobody wants Jay Cutler.
Even the 49ers.
Even the 49ers didn't want Jay Cutler. The Bears don't want Jay Cutler.
Nobody.
And we know that Denver and we know that Houston don't really want Jay Cutler over a Romo. But if it's Kirk Cousins, I think that Houston ponies up a little bit more for, wait, we can get Kirk Cousins? We don't need
the
Tony.
49ers want him
Cousins.
too for the Shanahan connection, of course.
Well, yeah, the 49ers.
But I think that's a spiteful situation where they're not going to even give him the option.
Yeah, and the reason why I say trade him now is the longer you wait, the longer you get into a situation like we talked about with the Bears. Like if you get to the trade deadline week and go, yeah, now we're going to trade him, teams will go, nah, just keep him. We'll find him at the end of the season. We know his address.
I think the only way he goes up in value is if a quarterback goes down during the season, which... It's been bound to happen. I mean, it's happened every year. We see guys go down with injuries. Yeah, the NFL is a tough league to stay healthy. And so outside of a quarterback going down with an injury, I don't see him moving. But for the love of God, I want him to be out of there because it's a bad situation for him. Like, this is how you know how we were just talking about the Eagles setting up for success? This is how you set up for failure.
Yeah.
Because you've now robbed him of his best two offensive weapons. And like, you don't want to play here, but we're going to make you play here. We're not going to give you any help. But we want you to go out there and perform at your best.
And not just that, like the thing that I thought of was not only did you let the two offensive weapons walk into Deshaun Jackson and Pierre Garçon.
Yep.
You didn't go after Jeffrey.
Nope.
You didn't go after Torrey Smith. You didn't go after Brandon Marshall seriously. Like we didn't know if maybe Brandon Marshall wasn't the one. Like I don't think he'd go to the Redskins over the Giants.
Not a chance.
But Alshon, I think if you said, oh, Alshon, here's $1 million for 14, he picked the Redskins to play with Kirk Cousins.
But why would anyone go there if you know all this is going on with Kirk Cousins not wanting to be there?
And I think that the big reason of this, and I think that it's one of those things where I'm going to say it and everyone's going to go, wow, Ricky, wait for telling me that I need to drink water to live. But It's really Dan Snyder. Dan Snyder's the problem. He needs to not be the owner anymore, and everything would be solved.
It's a bit out of touch.
Well, it's not just out of touch. I kind of get this complex where it's like he's the guy where I'm right, you're wrong. Whatever I say goes. You can't tell me that I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And that's not how you run a business. Sometimes we are all wrong. And it kind of goes, I know this isn't the should they trade him part of it, but you look at a guy like John Lynch coming in new to the GM scene in San Fran. Every interview he's in, he's like, yeah, you know what? I'm just surrounding I'm surrounding myself with guys that are going to help me be the best and make sure that we can win because I can't do it all on my own. I'm new to this. I'm going to surround myself with the best football minds so that we can win. You don't get that in Washington.
I mean, they did just fire Scott McLaughlin. I mean, they got rid of the GM, so it's a start. it's still dumpster fire.
Dude, and
That's a start.
Did you hear the story about, like, before the combine about the stuff with McCaughlin? Did you hear that weird stuff where it's like, oh, well, the GM for the Redskins isn't at the combine. That's kind of weird. And they come out with a story like, oh, he's dealing with his grandmother's funeral. Well, some reporters did some digging, and they're like, well, that's kind of fishy because his grandmother died in early February. Why would they wait a month for the funeral? So it's kind of like, I think he's going to be fired. That's why he's not here.
I actually, it's weird to say, I wasn't totally, I didn't dislike him. I think this is just more of I'm going to clear everything out from under me and hope to God that I keep my job ownership role.
Well, and it's one of those things where,
because what else is there to move?
You know who's in the driver's seat? Kirk Cousins.
Yep.
He's right there in the driver's seat because it's one of those things where he'll play this season. He'll be fine. There will be teams at the end of next season.
Fine. Well, he's going to put up. The problem is,
unless he gets injured.
This hurts his stock though. Like, no matter what.
Though? I don't.
You're going to play a year without having wide receivers. No offense to Crowder, but like, no, you don't. You just lost 2,000-yard wide receivers.
I don't think it does because I think if he hits free agency next year, he's a Niner. The Niners are the team where it's like, I don't care what you do.
But we're talking about a contract difference of maybe he's only going to get, $19 million compared to $24 million, or, I know at that point it's like, oh, who gives a fuck? But no, it really does matter.
It matters to them because it's their money.
Exactly.
I don't think because of these two weapons.
I think his performance is going to be degraded because of not having the guys around him.
There's a difference between performance and numbers. The numbers might go down because he doesn't have those weapons there. But I think that the product that we saw on the field last year from Kirk Cousins, what he brings to the game, the intensity that he brings to the quarterback position, that's not going to go anywhere. The whole reason.
It's an interesting point.
The whole reason we got you like that? Or what's the second one he did when he said it to how do you like me now? When he did that one. The reason why he does that is because after the game, and I don't know if you guys noticed, but he is a feisty fella after the game. The adrenaline's pumping, and especially when he gets excited, that's when we get those. That's not going to go anywhere just because he lost Deshaun Jackson and Pierre Garçon. That's not going anywhere. How I see this playing out is, should the Redskins trade him? Hell yeah. Trade him in a heartbeat. But will they trade him? No. What's probably going to happen is one of two things. He plays out the year with the Redskins. His numbers are less because he doesn't have the same options. Crowder will be his number one wide receiver, with Jordan Reed being number 2, or switch them. Those are going to be your
Jordan
top 2.
Reed is really the dude.
And then either one of two things will happen at the end of the season. He'll walk and go to San Fran because Kyle Shanahan will be like, thank you, Brian Hoyer, for being our placeholder.
Yep.
The Royal King of San Fran is now here to play. Or he gets franchise tagged and he gets a ton of money. It's a win-win for Kirk Cousins.
You got to survive the season.
Unless he gets injured, it's a win-win for Kirk Cousins.
You got to survive the season. And you got to make yourself... The problem is, I think a lot of this is happening publicly, and it doesn't help his image. I think we all are siding with him from MVP, but I think that publicly it doesn't look great when you have a quarterback who is so outspoken and who is basically going, but I don't want to come play for you. I want to go play for my old friends.
See, but I don't see it that. And then that's the thing. I know you're saying, well, we see it in Kirk Cousins. I don't see it that way, mainly because look at the Redskins as an entire organization. They have not been the best organization
They're not
to kind of work with.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where the way I see it is, you know what? I've been disrespected. I'm not going to be disrespected anymore. Trade me. And the one thing I was going to ask you, Dave, because I haven't heard anything, has he signed his tender yet?
I am not sure about that.
Because the one thing I would say is if he hasn't signed his tender, you know what I would be almost as bold to say? Fuck it, I won't sign my tender and I'll sit out. I will sit out. Then you don't have to worry about injury. You don't have to worry about the downplay, like, oh, my numbers are lower.
Yeah.
And he'll just go to San Fran at the end of the year. Unless, you, like I said, you want to tag me and pay me money.
Yeah,
because I will sign next year's tender. I'm not passing up $34 million.
He's going to go out there. I hope he's just going to go out there and be a professional player. He's unhappy. He's visibly unhappy. He's vocally unhappy. He's letting everybody in the world know He doesn't want it. But at the end of the day, you got a job. Just do the job, like you said, and you got to look forward to next year and hope that your boy's gonna watch out for you, bring over to San Francisco, and there will be a better situation for you.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, if I'm the Redskins, I am calling the not the Titans. I'm calling the Texans up. I'm calling the Broncos up.
Get the runner-up for Romo.
Not the runner-up. I'm saying, you guys know you want the young calf, not the old bull.
The asking price might be so high, though.
The asking price is going to be higher because he is like I said, the young calf, not the old bull.
Jesus Christ! Could you not with the
no stepbrotherisms?
Killing me over here.
We don't want to go with stepbrothers, but that's the thing. Like if I'm especially the Houston Texans, I'll pay up a little bit to go after Kirk Cousins. Now the thing with the Texans that's awkward is you basically gave up draft picks to get rid of Brock the Cock. So how's that going to work?
You know what's
give
interesting?
Up more picks to get Kirk Cousins?
You know what? I'm just going to toss out there that's interesting. I know this is night one of free agency, so again, keep this timer in mind.
Hit me with it.
The Browns are getting calls about Brock Osweiler. One of those rumored teams.
Is
you gotta start thinking, could it be?
So you're saying that the Redskins and the Browns do a swapperoo for Kirk Cousins and Brock the Cock?
The Browns have a lot of ammunition. They have a lot of picks.
Kirk Cousins could win in Cleveland.
They've got...
And I just said win in Cleveland in the same sentence.
This year...
Not NBA.
Yeah.
We're not talking NBA, folks.
My God. This year, the Browns have 2 1s, 2 2s, a 3, 2 4s, 3 5s, and a 6. Next year, a 1 1, 3 2s, a 3, 2 4s. I mean, and it just keeps going like so.
Well, hey,
I don't know. We could see some craziness happen next week.
Brock the Cock in the 12. Brock the Cock in the 12 for Kirk Cousins, and then you throw in whatever other picks.
Sprinkle in some other picks.
Other picks on each side.
Yep.
On each side.
I don't
of
even
course,
know.
There's going to be more than that.
Who knows what the value is these days, but it could be something interesting. We could see something absolutely crazy happen out of this.
Because apparently the asking price for Jimmy G has gone up
Dose
a bit.
ones.
Has gone up quite a bit, and I don't think the Browns give up the number 1 pick and the number 12 pick for Jimmy Garoppolo.
Number 1 this year, number 1 next year. They're already declaring the Browns the worst team in the league.
Okay.
That's the Patriots said, I'm pretty sure. Quote Bill Belichick on that.
So you get 2 picks, but the one thing, I think it'd be interesting because that's the thing that when the Browns got Brock the Cock, it didn't say release. They said they're looking to trade or release.
Yep.
And if I'm the Browns...
They're real excited about that number 2 pick, though, or that second round pick. They're like, hey, tweet goes out, great pick, number 2. Oh, yeah, and Brock, that guy, I guess he can compete. Like, sure, we'll give him a shot. Why not?
He can compete with the ex-Redskin quarterback that we have on the roster.
Yeah, before he gets cut.
Could you imagine that? They trade Brock for Kirk Cousins, and Kirk Cousins is starting over RG3? Because he would be. The Browns wouldn't say, you're going to fight for the position.
What a horrible tinfoil. What has happened, Ricky? Where did I get the tinfoil hat from?
That would be full circle. That would be the just Redskin life or just their lives coming full circle. Of now the teacher has become, the student has become the teacher in this sense.
Good
the
Lord.
Third round pick is now the starter when the first round pick is now.
Got no knees.
I would say even the third stringer. I'd put Cody Kessler over RG3.
RG3 got no knees.
I'd say Kirk Cousins number 1, Cody Kessler number 2, RG3 number 3.
Poor Redskins.
And then
that's all I gotta say.
And then Brock the Cock can go deal with Dan Snyder and the Redskins.
I wish nothing but the worst for Dan Snyder. I hope he removes himself from being the owner of this team so they can move on with their lives and get a respectable team back together.
I like the way you think, Dave. I like that trade. That's what we do. Brock the Cock for Kirk Cousins. That's what we're going to end it on.
Throw in some picks.
That's what we're ending
Make it happen, Browns. Make it happen, Dan Snyder.
And this is where you guys come in. Let us know down below what you guys think. Well, first answer the question. Do you think that Kirk Cousins is going to, or should he be traded?
Should he be traded? Should the man get his freedom?
And then I want you to talk about the tinfoil hat that we both put on at the end. I'd love Brock the Cock for Kirk Cousins, especially if I'm on the Browns side.
You like that?
I do. I like that. How do you like me now, Dave? How do you like me now? But thank you for listening to this new edition of Behind the Pen. Mike will be back next week to let you know what we missed about the Bears.
You can go 25 minutes on Cutler.
He can go 20. Notice how we mentioned Jay Cutler, but we didn't go really big
We left
on
it
Jay
for
Cutler.
you.
We left him for you, buddy boy. But we can't wait to have Mike Rankin back next week. I want to thank you guys for listening and watching. If you liked the video, hit that like button. If you loved it, hit the subscribe button. Thank you guys for watching and listening again. And as always, have a good day, everybody.
Thank you guys for sticking around for this segment of Behind the Pen. If you want more Most Valuable Podcast content, click on the video up above, because I don't know why you wouldn't want to keep listening to our voices every day. But again, guys, thank you all for listening. We really do appreciate you.